See, Money, we got to get into this Helldivers 2 conversation because, we started to talk about it yesterday, and I obviously it was me and Hargeet originally, then Kay jumped in, and we threw our thoughts and the theories out there, but I really want to get your thoughts on it because there is something to be said how a lot of the conversations have been shut down, right? Like, again, now there is a breaking story that who sent it to me? JMO Money actually just sent it to me. We're going to get into this tomorrow because I want to read up on it. I don't want to half cock it. I'll send you over the link as well, See Money. And it's regarding the Sony Senior Vice President, Sarahiko Hayakawa, says that they are, and meaning they, PlayStation, are gradually shifting their gaming business from a hardware-centric business model to a community and engagement-based platform business model. Now, again, that's what's being reported. Obviously, the numbers came out for Sony.
They've been saying it. This is the crazy thing about PlayStation and the news that we get from it, right? They've said this so many times in so many different ways. Like they say it, but it's just nobody wants to hear them. So every time they say it again, people are like, oh my God, look at what they're deciding now. It's like, no, fam. They've been talking about this for a long time, bro. January of 2024, they came out and told the world they're done with worrying about one place for their stuff. They're moving towards making their stuff everywhere. They want the community to build around these games. They want all this stuff. This is what's going to happen. They've already said it. But I'll be happy to talk about it again because
you know what? Let's get into the weeds of this thing because there are a lot of content creators which we don't name here. Right. There are a lot of community members, which we don't name here, that do a lot of deflecting for Sony and PlayStation. And that deflecting comes in exactly what you literally just said, See Money, is that things are said, and in order to fit their ridiculous narratives, sentences are removed and put together with other sentences from other paragraphs to try and forward their agenda of confusion. And the reality is that when I, as a grown man who's going to be 55 in September, read something, my comprehension skills are pretty damn good. And I get what they're trying to say. Well, when that thing came out, when that announcement, that job announcement, whether it be an old job announcement or a new one came out, it clearly said that they are looking for a way to make money on other platforms because guess what, folks? PlayStation gamers aren't enough. The numbers are there, right? We don't have to go into
the boom real quick. The crazy thing,
please,
that they don't realize when they're saying this, right?
I think they do.
They I don't think they understand. I think they have some real issues mentally going on when they're speaking about this because if the version that we are saying is better for them, because the version that we are saying is like, oh snap, look, they're just starting this hiring process because they're making the change now officially because look at them going to spend the money, right? So that's what we're saying. But what they're saying and trying to laugh at us about, like what we're saying is, bro, this is old. Okay. Then that just means that they've been doing this shit for longer. And it's even closer to happening. What is wrong with you, fam? Like, how are you not realizing that all you're doing is running around telling everybody, guys, calm down. This is not new. They've been in the process to bring all their stuff to Xbox. It's just coming out now. Like, what's wrong with you? That's even better for us. Good. I hope it's old. I hope it's the oldest possible because that means they've been doing everything they can to line it up perfectly so that they can just start banging all this stuff out. That means that all your single player games next year might be coming to Xbox because if they've been doing it for this long, now they're ready to go. Thank you for giving us that hope.
You know something? You bring up a phenomenal point.
Wow.
Right? if this job posting was in fact old, let's say 4 months old, 6 months old, right? That would mean exactly what you just said, C-Money. That would mean that these moves are already in the making. You got to remember, folks, and I've actually said this before, and I've gotten pushback with people who are trying to argue relentlessly this point of no, it's only gas games for Sony. Folks, they canceled all of their gas games. What freaking games are you talking about? Fair games? Is that the one?
That's the ticket. That's the ticket right there.
I don't think that's what it is. I think people just like hearing themselves talk. Well, to get back to the topic of conversation, what came out thanks to a story from WindowsCentral.com was that it was PlayStation's wish to get Helldivers 2 onto Xbox, ladies and gentlemen. And again, this came the way. How did this whole story erupt? Well, it had happened in a Discord messaging situation with Arrowhead's CEO, Sams Georgiani. And when a particular person or fan of the game and the company said, hey, I never thought that I'd see Sony put this game on Xbox, he responded by saying it was all Sony's decision to bring Helldivers 2 to Xbox. And when someone said, hey, man, thanks so much for this. I'm an Xbox player. I wanted to really play this game. I don't have a PlayStation. He simply responded, it was all PlayStation. Send them the thanks. We were all in support of this, of course. So, I mean, C-Money, what do you even say to this? Like, ladies and gentlemen, the evidence is right there. Like, I originally thought that maybe it was, Arrowhead that wanted their game on Xbox. Turns out it was freaking PlayStation. So what if, okay, so listen, I'm no mathematician, ladies and gentlemen, but 1 and 1 equals 2. Sorry. So if you take C-Money, the announcement where they are hiring someone for nearly $400,000 a year, right? Think about that salary. That's a ridiculous amount of money this person's going to be making. And they're hiring this person to do what? To extend outside of PlayStation consoles. And what's out there? Well, PC they're already doing, so that's no big surprise. But there is Xbox, there is Switch 2, and there is, of course, mobile. That is where they're going to make additional dollars. And then, of course, this happens. And Helldivers 2 releasing on the 26th, right alongside Gears of War. And again, this is a really weird world we're living in where Gears is going to PlayStation, Helldivers is going to Xbox, cats and dogs are living together. It's insane. But C-Money, what do you say to this? What are your comments about Arrowhead's CEO literally confirming that this was a PlayStation power move and not theirs?
Yeah, I mean, I was never on the boat that it was them. For me, I knew that it's a Sony IP. So they own the IP. Arrowhead is doing their work. That's why Arrowhead is done with, I'm not going to say done, but for their next game, they're done with the exclusive idea and they're making their own stuff, right? They don't have any say. They don't have any power into what goes where when it comes to a game that Sony is paying for, right? So I always knew it was PlayStation that was pulling the strings on this and wanting it to happen for sure. I mean, Phil came out and talked about it a while ago, and the person from Arrowhead said that that's up to Phil and Sony, right? Because it's not their place. They can say they want it, it doesn't matter. It's Sony. And bro, I don't understand these people who refuse to let PlayStation and Sony run a business. They think that they're in this to just have these warriors out in these streets fighting this little negligible war because it means nothing to them at all. They think Sony's like, yo, soldiers, report in. Well, how did it go today? Let us know. We must know. Decisions will be made based off your progress.
Today, bro.
Like, what is wrong with these people, bro? Like, listen, when we were in the thick of the console wars, it was never a Microsoft and Sony war, right? Even like Peter, what's his name? What was this? The old, Peter Moore.
Okay, yeah, Peter Moore, yeah.
And even like we had oh man, I don't know why he's leaving my name, but we had him on our show. The guy who originally started Xbox, right? Man, I don't know why I'm fucking blanking on his name.
The guy that makes the bread. I know you're talking about,
yes,
right?
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't know why I'm blanking on his name, but we had him on our show. We talked to him about it. Yeah, like for them,
Samus Blackley. Thanks, thanks
Seamus,
for the
Seamus,
thank you, brother.
Blackley.
That was Abdel 114.
Yeah, Clute in the building. Thank you, my brother.
Yes.
So Seamus, yes, they as people, okay, were in the console war too, but not Microsoft. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
it was never
individuals.
Microsoft.
Yes.
Right. It's them personally, but Microsoft never was in it, because if Microsoft was in it and they give a shit about it, then they would have backed Xbox with everything they had from the beginning. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like, it's not realistic to think that these companies give a shit about any of this stuff, right? They want the money. Sony is finally in a position where, similar to Xbox, okay, thanks to Hiroki, thanks to the money man coming in and realizing that as much as PlayStation might have studios that are capable of, being creatively great, financially they don't know how to run a business, right? And he's course correcting all of this stuff, right? So at the end of the day, PlayStation is finally looking at this and saying, okay, if we're going to go ahead and copy Xbox on everything else, let's go ahead and follow them on the thing that's actually going to make us, real money. And the fact that Microsoft has already started this progress, the fact that they went ahead and just said, fuck it, we don't care about the crybabies on Twitter. We don't care, because there's millions more who don't even know that Twitter is having this conversation. Jesus Christ.
That's true.
Hold on, brother.
Yeah. So, I mean, C-Money is 100% right. I know that, first of all, thank you to 325 people watching live. Mrs. Boom and I do appreciate you guys and gals tuning in for today's show. We understand what is happening in the gaming spaces, right? Because we read I would say magazines. Oh my God. Well, I actually just got my Game Informer. So yeah, I'm still actually reading, physical print. Not a lot of them though. But we understand the business of gaming, right? Most of the casual audience, which we all know is in the high 80 percentile, I would even say 85%. Some people would say it's 90% on PlayStation. Like they don't care about console wars. They just want to play games. And that is why games like that's why Xbox Game Studios has 6 of the top 10 most bought games on PlayStation. You know why? Because they just want to buy games. They want to play games. They play the games. They enjoy them. When they're done, if they're not buying them digitally, they're trading them in. Now, how many we know the digital is way higher than the physical, but there is an audience, ladies and gentlemen, that doesn't care about what we care about. Like, when they're not in the trenches, they don't understand, the Twitter fights and the arguments, and they could care less whether or not, you're capping for your green team, your blue team, whatever. But I just think it's hilarious to see the lengths that some people are still fighting. Like, folks, look, it's done. You've been counted out. You got knocked down to the ground, and the referee counts to 10. The fight's over. Sony PlayStation defenders. You know, it's done. They're going third party. And if we can go on anything more that Sony continues to say, they literally just said it today where they're expanding their horizons outside of hardware. Now, granted, it has been confirmed that they have over 80 million PlayStation 5s. That's a lot of PlayStation 5s out there. That, of course, includes pros as well, right? So they're doing well with the consoles, but they're not doing well enough where they would not want to put a game onto Xbox because they have, listen, I really laugh at the people that are trying to compare or at least assert their opinions on, well, because they only have 30 million something consoles out there, that it doesn't count. That's 30 million human players, ladies and gentlemen. Now, is everyone an active player? I mean, if they bought the console, I would imagine at some point they're playing their consoles, but 30 plus million. Now, I know there's some people trying to say, oh, no, it's 27. Folks, it's been 30 something million for the last 2 years. I know they haven't been selling a lot of consoles, but they've still been selling, even if it's gradually. And consoles, that's it. I know it's the old metric, but it's not the new metric. You know, it just is what it is.
Sorry about that, bro.
No, I don't sweat. If Xbox was not a platform that Sony was confident that they could sell their wares on, would they have put Helldivers? Would they have agreed to put MLB The Show? No, they wouldn't, because they wouldn't be making money. So obviously, they're making money. I don't know, see money.
So
again,
this is my thing. The funny thing is I love the idea that Xbox has even less than what is projected. I love that idea because then that means that PlayStation is about 3 times as big, roughly 2 to 3 times. But let's take their projection where it's actually lower, right? And it's almost 3 times. Cool. Okay, cool. So let's look at the money that comes in. Is PlayStation netting 3 times as much as Xbox?
no, they're not actually.
Oh, interesting. Wow. So that means having 80 million shipped doesn't actually mean shit. Because if they can't produce 3 times the revenue with 3 times the boxes, what the fuck are you talking about? You stupid fucking people. Sorry, let me chill. I can't talk like that. My bad. But yeah, let's go ahead and let's see. I understand, because let me tell you the secret. When you own a business, if you have 3 times the opportunity out there and you're making the same, less, or just a little more than someone who's way smaller than you, that's a problem. That's a problem. I need to go figure out what my competition is doing that he could do so much more with so little.
Yeah, that's a great point, dude.
That's actually the best scenario. Why do you think PlayStation is following? Businesses don't follow losers. Businesses don't follow losers. Losers follow losers. That's why there's so many ponies out there, because they're following the loser, right? But the PlayStation, they're following Xbox because Xbox is going in the right direction, right? You can tell because your boys over at PlayStation said, yo, put Helldivers 2 on Xbox now. We need that. We need that money. Let's go. They don't like the truth. They don't like the truth. They like to live in their made up fantasy world where they think that PlayStation gives a shit that they have this. I don't know if you saw their numbers, but their numbers came out.
Yeah, I saw them this morning. Yeah.
So their sales went up. Their software sales for this quarter went up 23% or some shit like that. And isn't it funny that this happens to be the quarter that Xbox games came to PlayStation? So it seems like Xbox is solely responsible for the increase in in software sales for PlayStation. God, what a beautiful scenario, yo. What a beautiful scenario.
You know what's
And again,
interesting?
it's just funny that they're like this. Go ahead.
No. You know what's interesting, and this is what I don't think people realize. Like right now, you see how much money Xbox is making or Microsoft's making off of games on PlayStation. And they currently own 6 of the top 10 spots, right? That's been confirmed. That's not even a suggestion. That is just a reality. I've said this before, and I truly believe this in my heart of hearts that when something like Spider-Man comes, and it's going to release on Xbox, folks, it's just a matter of time. It's going to be a Marvel thing. It's going to be a Sony thing. It's going to be they want to make money. The if you had to take a shot at something coming over that is going to be the breadwinner for PlayStation and PlayStation Studios, folks, the easy answer is Spider-Man. I mean, for me, I'd love to see Days Gone and a bunch of other ones, but the easy answer is what's the most recognized character that Sony has that's currently, well, it's an exclusive to the console space because it's only on PlayStation right now. But we obviously know that Spider-Man launched to pretty good success on the PC. The only problem with that is that it was too much of a gap. Like if they ever did Spider-Man, let's say Spider-Man 3 day and date, it would sell pretty well on PC. It's going to sell well on PlayStation for sure, but it would sell as good or even better on PC because it's in the mind, it's in the zeitgeist of the conversation. Spider-Man 3, PC, PlayStation. Do I see a day and date to Xbox?
Do that.
No.
They're going to want to do that because of the trend that PlayStation is on with their games.
Yes.
Right. The only way to break that trend is to do something different.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So it's just facts right now. There's nothing a pony can say to change this. None of PlayStation 5 first party games that were sequels or follow-ups did better than the originals on PlayStation 4. That's the fact, right? Every single one across the board. Every single one did worse than the original across the board. So the trend is down. So if they're making a part 3, do you think if they look at themselves and they say, okay, well, we have to spend the same or more money, does it make sense knowing that your trend is your next game is probably going to sell less than the game before?
That, what's interesting? That happened to God of War. It happened to Spider-Man, and it happened to Horizon, bro.
And it will happen to Ghost of Yotei. 100%.
Yeah.
Ghost of Yotei will not sell as much. I mean, it's there. Though I don't know what scenario will have to exist for it to happen, but it's already has that negative connotation to it because they switched to the chick, right? So you're already going to have a massive group of people who are anti, women in games that are not going to buy it, right? So that's just like the scumbags of the world. But the point is that they're going to still account for a part of the people who bought Ghost of Tsushima who are not going to buy the Ghost of Yotei. And sadly, the inverse doesn't exist, right? We have no proof that, when a girl is there, more people go buy it, right? The only numbers we have is that when they do this, these dudes tend to fight it and not buy these things, and they start these ridiculous movements. So already in that respect, it's already going to be lower. But I mean, frankly, the reason, and this is what I believe wholeheartedly, and again, the numbers kind of back me up, is that people are tired of more of the same. They didn't get a PlayStation 5 for more of the same. And that's all PlayStation's been doing every single time. PlayStation Spider-Man 2, more of the same, no big technological difference, nothing that's huge, nothing that you could see on the screen. And, we've said it on our show. I'm probably said it here before, but there's a reason that sex sells, right? There's a reason why they put pretty things in front of you and that would make you look at it and buy it, right? That's the way they think. Same reason that graphics are so important in a lot of these games. Not saying that that's the end all be all, but I'm saying that if you start at a graphical fidelity that's high, and then you go to a next generation, the expectation is that
You want
fidelity is
better.
going to be much higher,
Yeah.
not more of the same. So I'm not saying that a brand new game that decides that their art style is going to be pixel art or some other form of, you know, art direction that they go and it's not photorealistic or is not super high end, that they can't find success. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that a franchise that starts high has to go higher. If you don't, then you're more of the same. And that is a problem. Freaking look at even a little game. Look at Grounded. Grounded 2 looks better, feels better, plays better, does everything better. Hold on, I gotta take this call. Sorry, guys.
Yeah, go do your thing. Well, I mean, look, at the end of the day, I said this before, you know, like, and the best comparisons that I can come up with is right now, I think Helldivers 2 is going to track on Xbox. A lot of us wanted it to come to Xbox. I was one of them. I double dipped. I bought the big edition. I think it was $60 on PlayStation. I bought the big edition on the Xbox. I'm not sorry I did. I cannot wait for the 26. I'm going to play it. I'm going to enjoy it. And I'm going to get to use my Elite controller, which is my favorite controller of all time. So I get to use the controller I want, play on the console that I enjoy playing on. And this is awesome, right? I won as a gamer. I got the game I really wanted. I bought it. I voted with my wallet. Well, here I am, ladies and gentlemen. But Helldivers 2 is not the Forza Horizon moment that PlayStation had, right? The Forza Horizon 5 on PlayStation 5 moment, the numbers are there, folks. They've sold over 3 million, and it's tracking. It continues to be in their top 10. 3 million since its launch was only a couple of months. That's a pretty big deal. And more people continue to buy it, more people continue to play it, and it's going to be a big franchise, which is Xbox owned, on PlayStation. Folks, I'm here to tell you that even though Helldivers is a giant W for Xbox and its players, it's not the Forza Horizon 5 moment. That moment that I'm talking about is going to come in the form of Spider-Man 2018. That is going to be Xbox's moment for Sony PlayStation Studios. I really think that game is going to happen. How soon? Well, interestingly enough, Insomniac Games launched Spider-Man 2018 7 years ago as of September 7th, which is next month. Now, obviously, there is Gamescom. That announcement could come there. It's possible, right? We've been hearing, rumors and leaks about a PlayStation game announcement coming at the next Xbox, show. What's the next Xbox show? It's Gamescom. That could be. Sony is not going to be there. We know that Sony isn't going to Gamescom, but Xbox is going to be there. Xbox is also going to be in Japan, for celebrating Tokyo Game Show 2025. I think that's later in the month, so it would wind up missing it, the September 7th date. So, I mean, it's kind of lining up. Is it going to happen? We don't know. But the moment for Xbox, and I think this is going to be the moment where it does shut down the narrative and the conversation with a lot of the trolls on PlayStation, is when a monster-sized single-player game is released. Because right now, if you're in these Twitter streets, there are certain content creators, there are certain, X personalities that keep telling us that it's only gas games, it's only multiplayer games, it's never going to be Spider-Man. When it happens, I can tell you right now, every one of these troll MFs are going to go into witness protection. They're going to do what cowards do and hide. They're not going to be out in Front Street saying, hey, folks, I got it wrong. Nope. they'll go into witness protection, and then they'll come out and they'll start pointing the finger and laughing when Spider-Man is like the best sold game on Xbox, because that's ultimately what's going to happen. As good as Horizon is doing for PlayStation, make no mistake, ladies and gentlemen, Spider-Man 2018, whether it be released solely or in that 2-pack that was released on PlayStation 5, where they got Spider-Man 2018 remastered and Miles Morales. Now, that would be an amazing 2-pack. Put it out for $70. I think a lot of people on Xbox, including me, who actually own those games, would gladly buy it on Xbox. See, I talk with the wallet. But that's when you'd see these coward trolls, because when the announcement comes, they're all going to go into hiding like it's the winter time, right? Like a bear. They're going to close themselves in on a cave. And then when the numbers come out and it sells really well on Xbox, and it will sell really well on Xbox, then they'll come out and say, oh, you see, this was a smart move for Sony to do this. They're making money. It's just crazy how these people act.